Pat Bradburn, Northwest Wings Bird Taxidermy down here in Veneta, Oregon, and I'm going to show you what I look for when somebody brings me in a bird to be mounted. So if you're out hunting and you're not expecting to be trophy hunting, it's a wet, rainy northwest day, and you're shooting just mallards or whatever over your favorite puddle, and all of a sudden here comes in this duck, looks a little bit different. You drop it and you think that might be something you want to look at. First thing, don't send the dog. If you can walk out and pick it up, go leave the dog behind, walk out, retrieve the bird by hand. It might be, who knows, a mallard pintail cross or something, something different. And now it's raining and it's storming and the bird looks wet and it might be, shot up, wing might be broken, whatever. Don't think that's the end of the world. You might have a special bird and you look at it and it's just hammered and it's bloody and it looks terrible, it's wet, it's a bad day and everything's beat up by the time you get back to the rig carrying all the decoys out and everything. And you wanted to get that bird mounted, but you look at it again and it looks trashed. It's probably not as bad as it looks. The taxidermist would evaluate it differently than the average hunter in the field. Basically anything in the wing and any of these bones all the way down that are broken, that's all very fixable for a flying mount. Nothing to worry about. You want to look for feather loss. If you've got major broken feathers or feather loss, that could be an issue. But then that becomes up to the customer whether or not you want to see the tattered looking wing or not, or the taxidermist can pose it in a certain way to hide a lot of that damage or put some of that damage behind some habitat or something in the mount. The one limiting break in a flying mount is right in this joint right here, which is the pinion joint, where those primaries extend. Right in that joint. Either side of that joint breaks are not that big of a deal, but if it's right in that joint right there and that joint is destroyed, that can really limit the ability of getting an accurate anatomy on a flying mount on a wing. But it's not the end of the world. If it's a special bird, it might still be fixable. One easy way to kill a bird in the field without wringing the neck and risking breaking that skin or ripping feathers or something out, one easy way to do it is to put the bird down on its belly, hold it down. You can apply pressure on a smaller bird, just apply pressure on its back and squeeze the air out of its lungs, and the bird will suffocate quickly that way, and you can keep everything in good shape. If it's a bigger bird, you can put it down on the ground and put your knee right dead center on its back and just hold it down. You can kind of hold its head in place and just hold it until it stops. That's a good way to kill them without doing damage. But visible things to look for, I guess, would be major areas of feather loss. If you have a bird that's common, that you're going to shoot more of, but he's missing a big chunk of feathers out of his neck or something weird like that, and you want it in a certain pose, and it's going to be an issue, don't worry about saving that bird if you can replace it, if you can shoot it again soon. If you're in an area that you're going to shoot the same kind of bird, then don't worry about it. If it's something special, like the cinnamon teal I talked about, something like that, and it's got some issues, don't throw it out without talking to your taxidermist. I would say go talk to your taxidermist and then make the decision with your taxidermist on and say, look, I'm not going to shoot this bird again in another 10 years. Just keep it, somewhat separated from the others. Don't mangle it in the field. Keep it somewhat separated from the others. Don't worry too much about it getting wet, getting soaked, all that stuff. That doesn't matter. Keep it aside. Keep it somewhat contained, but don't worry about little things. Don't worry about blood on the feathers. Don't worry about wet feathers. Don't worry about breaks in the wings. Don't worry about anything like that. Just get it home and then call your taxidermist and tell them, you've got this special bird, and have them look it over. They'll give you, the taxidermist will give you the final word on what pose is okay. But too many people think that the bird is not salvageable, and it's probably just fine. When you go to bag them up in the freezer to bring them to your taxidermist, what I would recommend, say you just got home from the hunt, you're going to clean these birds, but you got the one mounter bird you're gonna bring into your taxidermist. Take the head, tuck it along either side of the body. It doesn't matter, whichever side it goes down easier. Tuck it under the wing, fold it over, just keep that wing alongside, or the head alongside the body with the wing covering it. Grab a plastic bag, you can put it in there, wrap it up tight, basically just squish it down. Don't worry about crushing plumage or anything like that. Squish it down tight, roll it up as tight as you can get it, smash it in there, take some masking tape and run it around, tape it up, and then do that 2-3 times, wrap it up tight, and then label the package. You know, hen ring neck, shot January 15th, you know, the location or whatever. Write down that information, stick it in the freezer, and then call your taxidermist. And that bird will stay good like that for several months, maybe even several years. The main thing is you want to protect from freezer burn by keeping that head tucked underneath the wing. You can find all this information online at www.nwwings.com, and you can email me there with any questions, or give me a phone call from the phone number on the website, and I'd be happy to answer any questions or talk to you about, you know, anything that might come up with any questions about bird taxidermy, or, you know, saving a specimen or damage to a specimen or whatever.